I present to you my new fucking shtick, whatever this is. The whiteboard introduction. Garricade's finest new invention. As you can see, we're talking about a certain car brand today because you clicked on that title. And I don't have a little cool stick the teachers use to like click, 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 click. I have a wooden spoon. So, subscribe. I'm going to shut up, make me money, I don't know, fucking whatever. Anyways, when we think about car brands, right? Well, not all of us, but sometimes we like comparing them to women. It's a funny way to compare them, contrast them, you know? When we think about Porsche, we think about a woman who is really stable, beautiful, has all the great traits, but if you push her too hard, she's gonna fucking kill you. We think about Ferrari. Once again, very attractive, but will break down randomly. We'll start crying, no fucking reason what you did wrong, unreliable, unstable. When we think about Toyota, it's the girl that, you know, isn't the most attractive per se, but she'll always be there for you. She is your ride or die. So, using these car analogies, what's the analogy to a girl who's the best one-night stand ever, but the next morning, your dick's cut off, the police are in front of your house, and all your money's gone? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you TVR. Yeah! The history of TVR, and I'm not gonna bore you with like the 2,000 different things, because listen, we're gonna stick to the fun shit, which, you know what, by the board you can see a lot of fun shit. It was founded in 1947 by Trevor Wilkinson. Now you're thinking, what the fuck does TVR stand for? The voice recorder, the amount of times you're gonna be screaming in that thing? No, it actually stands for Trevor. TVR. So, before it was called TVR, he called it Trev Car, which, let's be honest, thank God it's not Trev Car. That might be like the least aura-inspired name ever. Imagine if I came out with like a Gara car. It's the stupidest thing ever. Anyways, his whole philosophy in life was power-weight ratio. What does that mean? It means fuck you, fuck your mom, we're all gonna die. He focused on high power, low weight, rear-wheel drive, forward engine. Fun. Very fun. He built these cars out of passion for the enthusiasts. He didn't give a shit about, you know, let's drive to the grocery store. I don't even know if they had them back then. That was Trevor. He fucked off. And then in 1965 came the Lillys. And the older Lily, there was Martin and Arthur. He came from Lotus. More specifically, he designed race cars for Lotus. So if there's ever a competition for the most mentally ill car brand, Lotus will be up there with TVR, because they were very similar with the power to weight ratio. They sold go-karts. He made these go-karts into race carts, and he took over. And this is where they also invented a lot of interesting cars, really unique things. Also the first turbocharged car in UK, production-wise, sick as fuck. Here's the coolest shit though. At the auto convention, I forgot the name, kill me, whatever, he decided to include models on top of his cars. And not just any models, we're talking nude models. We're talking extreme marketing towards fucking testosterone-filled guys, because we all know we love V8s, automobiles, and titties. So, he did that. And you bet your ass everyone was surrounding that goddamn car. Respect bold TVR. He did fuck off to whatever the fuck land. And here came Phil Wheeler. This guy was mentally ill. Like, this guy came out with the most insane names, first of all. The Griffith, the Chimera, the Tuscan, the Speed 12. Are we in like an alien movie or something? His ideas were revolutionary, and the cars that we think of when we think of TVR, he was behind like 95% of it. So you can thank this guy. And he also bought the company because he really fucked with it. So that just shows you he was passionate. It's a passionate car brand. he did take a TVR, specifically the T400R, to the... Can you shut the fuck up? To the Le Mans. And while the first time they did it, they didn't finish. In 2004, they did finish and cross the line in 24 hours, which is a remarkable achievement. TVR before this wasn't, I think, ever. Or maybe in the 60s in Le Mans. So, big milestone. And with that milestone, Phil Wheeler said, fuck it, I'm out of here. And here came Nikolai Smolensky. This was the era of TVR where we're just going, whoop, 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 whoop. And partially had to do with TVR itself. You know, who is TVR's market? Car enthusiasts, right? There's always going to be car enthusiasts, but not enough to make a profit. And what TVR struggled with was they were making exclusively sports cars. Exclusive. We're not talking supercars where you can sell a shit ton of money for, or, you know, the everyday Honda Odyssey bullshit. They were selling sports cars, and they were kind of like passion projects. So passion projects don't make profit. So despite having amazing engineering in this decade, they couldn't stay afloat. So they were just either declaring death, coming back alive, death, alive, death, alive. It came to a point where they were considering turning into a wind farm offshore technology.
Oh, hell no!
Greta Thunberg would kill herself if TVR was in charge of climate change.
How dare you! You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet...
Just put it out there. But luckily they didn't, because of this motherfucking demon right here. Let it go! We are so back. What does that mean? That means he became the chairperson in 2013 and said, fuck you, I'm not looking back. Everyone thought this brand was dead. He said, I'm taking back over, we're bringing TVR back. And did he bring it back? He did. In 2018, he came out with the Griffith, and it was very successful, very loved. In fact, people were pre-ordering that motherfucker, putting money in like a Kickstarter.
Are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel...
As you see there's a P, means present, so that means TVR is fucking back. This is the history. We're gonna get into 3 cars from me that are fucking mind-blowing. For me that I want to talk about. I'm chewing gum now. If you want to know why, it's because I fucking threw up. I researched these 3 cars, and I was actually just fucking... I was like picturing myself in that car and how fast it would go, and I like threw up. I'm being dramatic. I didn't throw up, but I felt like chewing gum. These 3 TVR cars, Trev cars, are the things I want to talk about, the cars I want to talk about. They're the most iconic for me. Old heads, I'm sorry, we're not going past 1999 here. This is what I grew up around. Starting with the Speed 12.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to take my glasses off for this. This is, yeah, it's getting foggy. Holy shit, where do I begin with the Speed 12? 1999. The only reason why this car isn't a street legal car is because Philip Wheeler, remember him? He drove around this car, walked around this car, and canceled it. Like he said, this car is never going out there. TVR said that. TVR is a mental hospital patient, like to the max, psychotic criminal, saying this is too dangerous. Let me explain why. This was known as the McLaren F1 killer, and oh my fucking god, was it a fucking killer. I played with this car in Project Gotham Racing 2. It was by far the best car in the game. Are you kidding me? Is that even supposed to be, like, funny? Let's get into it. Weighed 2,200 pounds. Maybe a little more, 2205. That's, like, genuinely, like, 3 obese people. Not heavy. The average car weight's, like, 4,000 pounds. That is go-kart level. Oh my god. It was rumored to have 810 to 1,000 horsepower. With this much weight. V12 engine was probably the heavy, like 90% of the weight. It was paper. It was paper with a V12 in it. It could reach over 240 miles per hour, hence the title McLaren F1 Killer. 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds. Before I get into this, let me just point out something real quick. TVR. No airbags, no ABS, no traction control, rear wheel drive, front engine. Are you out of your fucking mind? Phil Wheeler saved a good 50% of people who was gonna buy this car. Are you fucking? I'd have a heart attack driving it in a video game. Imagine this shit in real life. This is hell. This is Satan as a car. Now we're gonna go over to the Tuscan. We're gonna save this for the last. Woo! So the TVR Tuscan for me is the first TVR I was introduced to. Ooh, I'm not used to this angle. Whatever. If the 2000s was a car, this was it for me. I was like 3, 4, 5 years old playing Project Gotham Racing 2 again. And this motherfucking car came up and it looked like an alien, dude. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I looked up Tuscan too, like these names, Tuscan, Tamura. Like, I thought we were in a spaceship. And let me tell you, the interior of the car looks just like a spaceship. This car went from 1999 to 2006. It ranged, emphasis on ranged, from 350 to 440 horsepower, which meant it went 0 to 60 in 3.7 to 4.4, depending on the year. And yeah, I forgot. Yeah, this also went 215 miles per hour. That was the fastest model. It went from 185 to 215. But just a fucking sports car that also weighed 2,400 pounds. The fucking nerve. Who the fuck do they... These cars were not supposed to be driven by normal people. You have to take another license test to drive these. I'm convinced. Of course, these are all manuals, by the way. We all fucking know this. No safety features, no airbags, none of that. No traction control, ABS. Fuck you. That's what they said. This car is also a psychopath. The 440R being the example of... I don't even fucking want to start. It's mental. Mental, and it looked mental. It didn't look like a car. It looked like... This fucking thing keeps fucking... It looked like a car the aliens sent to kill us, to make us extinct. And to be honest, if I drove this thing, I would go extinct, meaning I would die. Finally, let's go back to my prettier side. The TVR Griffith, the 2024 announced TVR Griffith. Now, I don't know if we have an official date yet, but there's a pre-order out. You deposit $5,000 through their website, and I think you have access to like purchasing it or something. I don't really know how it works. I don't have the money for that. Anyways, this is the 2024 base. And I want to emphasize on base because that just means 6 years from now, when they drop this newer upgraded version, just double all these stats minus the weight. Half that, double everything else. It's using a Ford Coyote V8 engine. They used to use Fords back in the day, the engines. It weighs 2,700 pounds, 200 miles per hour, base. So we're hitting 240 by the time it's the last one. 0 to 60 is in 4 seconds. Pretty okay. We'll go quicker. It's safe. And when I mean safe, it's still bullshit in terms of rear-wheel drive, front engine, manual, kill me, 2,000 pounds. It's got airbags, ABS, traction control. It's got that. And I think the chairperson, Len, whatever his name was, I forgot, sorry. I think he looked at our generation, the TikTok scrolling idiots like us, that we're not aware of what's going on with the driving. There's so many like people driving reverse cameras. He was like, fuck no. We need to we're gonna have people die now. Like we got some British guys dying. Like there's no shot any one of these motherfuckers my age would drive this and not hit a pole. Before I crawl up and have a heart attack, let's finish out with our conclusion. Takeaways. TVR, mentally ill.
The voices.
Not only were the cars mentally ill, we're talking 2,000 pounds, 600 horsepower, 200 plus miles per hour. Fuck you. The people were savages. We're talking about people who had nude models on cars. This was the kind of group that, revolutionary, high testosterone. I mean, it's the definition of cars. And I want to talk about this quickly. Needed. If there's a car brand that's going to save the apocalypse of electric cars and how boring they are and how soulless they are, it's going to be TVR. Okay? Only TVR is going to fix this because everything else has gone so fucking corporate with their fucking Lamborghini Uruses, their Ferrari. You know, Ferrari's doing a good job. Lamborghini Urus, like, you know, just like they're going corporate. You know, they're just fucking designing their cars for the next Need for Speed, trendy, hype bullshit. TVR never did this shit for profit. This was for passion.
Shut the fuck up. Let me die in peace.
Regardless, guys, that was TVR. Next week, we're going to be talking about a little something different. I'm not going to tell you guys what the fuck I'm doing yet. But let me know what you guys think about TVR. Share some memories about TVR. And if you guys want me to cover another brand, listen, I love listening to you guys. I got a shit ton of ideas. But if there's something I'm missing, something cool that you need me to discuss on the whiteboard of Demonic Enterprises, I will discuss it. And me and the spoon will go the length. Thank you. And I have nothing else to say. I'm going to go look at some Tuscan pictures.